and I'm here to share the heartbreaking reality of my sister, Deborah Baldwin, aka Deborah Baldwin Z. This is not about the music or the arts today, but it's about humanity and basic needs not being provided by her spouse. Before I go on, I'm well aware of these horrible, terrible storms that are ravaging this United States, floods, hurricanes. And I say a special prayer to each and every one of you out there who are dealing with some hardship yourself. I do not take that lightly. My sister's campaign is called Justice for Deborah. What you're about to see is not just disturbing, it highlights the serious challenges she faces every day regarding her rehab care and treatment. In these clips, you'll witness Deborah, once a vibrant woman, now struggling due to heavy medications she has been prescribed. Over the past several months, it's come to my attention that her husband has been administering a significant amount of crushed medications into her feeding tube once daily, most days on an empty stomach. I was aware of the tube feed. I was not aware that they were being administered on an empty stomach. Brought to my attention recently. This concerning practice has severely impacted her cognitive clarity and ability to engage with the world, leaving her very vulnerable and more dependent on those around her, especially her husband. Every human deserves basic necessities: food, water, shelter, and in most cases, her spouse is the gatekeeper to those needs due to her disability. Deborah has faced significant barriers in accessing these rights. Her dental care has been neglected, going on 4 years, 48 months, due to the husband's unwillingness to invest in his wife's dental care. Even though he has sufficient funds to cover, he doesn't have a renter's agreement, doesn't pay rent, doesn't have his name on a utility bill, and he paid cash for his brand new Toyota automobile. He overspends on attorney fees, but doesn't have the soul or humanity to manage his wife's basic dental needs so she can enjoy a meal at the table like a normal human being. This type of financial and psychological abuse has compounded and prolonged her suffering and makes the situation all the more troubling. Working tirelessly on Deborah's rehab, I have encountered several unfounded accusations and negative narratives from certain individuals. Some have sought personal recognition by exploiting my sister's situation, fully aware of her health struggles, and have attempted to discredit my own efforts to support her. Their actions seem aimed at diminishing my role and drawing more attention to themselves. Despite these challenges, I remain steadfast and determined to fight for Deborah's well-being and our family's safety. I'm calling on our community to support in seeking justice and safeguarding her rights. This fight is not just about Deborah. It's about ensuring those who are vulnerable and dependent on those receive the care they deserve. Unfortunately, the system designed to protect individuals like Deborah have failed her and have allowed others to exploit her situation without thorough investigation of the facts. I want to emphasize how troubling it is that misinformation has circulated regarding her health status, leading to some to believe that she's terminally ill, and that is not the case. Although pumping 10 meds daily in a feeding tube in the morning on an empty stomach may possibly ensure this narrative over time. In any event, this narrative has allowed for further manipulation of the situation, diminishing the urgency of her care. Now, his narrative is, I love my wife. Sounds good, right? But if you love your wife, do you deny her the basic things in life, like teeth in her mouth to chew her food, especially when you have the resources to cover the cost? That's not love, that's flat out neglect. And one could argue that he resents the fact that the woman that used to take care of him can no longer do so, and now that the shoe is on the other foot, he wants out of the daily grind that comes with taking care of your wife when she's ill. For that, I say, sir, maybe you should not have married my sister. You remember those vows: for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health, etc. When your spleen had to be pulled out and you were sitting at death's door, and your eyes were, the whites of your eyes were like yellow, she nursed you completely back to health. But I guess those vows only work in one way, only, right? In your favor. For those who have aligned with this misinformation, Their misunderstandings of my commitment to my sister's recovery have led to misleading assumptions about my intentions. These distractions take away from the real issues at hand. Her physical and mental health, safety, and overall well-being should be the focus, and those who create roadblocks are actually complicit as they aid and abet these potentially criminal actions. They all have blood on their hands if she is to perish. Is there a payout at the end for those who are complicit? Is there a floating life insurance policy? I have gathered substantial evidence, videos, emails, and photos documenting her decline, backed up on several computers around the country, showing the reality of her condition and the challenges she has faced since this journey began in 2020. As her power of attorney and health proxy, I am committed to advocating for her rights, yet I find myself not only combating the challenges of her care, but also addressing the narratives created by those who wish to undermine me. Now, just recently, her feeding tube was inadvertently removed by the nursing home located in Tarrytown, New York. This is not an easy thing to do because inside of the stomach, there are balloons. This is a very painful removal. It has to be forcibly done. Not only did this happen, 2 days later, they sent this lame email, one sentence, not explaining anything. And when I tried to get information about exactly what happened, they covered up the reason. So it just so happens the day that the tube was removed, by the way, she received a visit from her husband that same day. It's all documented. Hey, put one and one together, you'll figure it out, right? Together, my family and I must finally shine a light on the truth. Contrary to what may be narrated, Deborah is the victim, no one else. She deserves better, and I refuse to let anyone take advantage of her vulnerability any longer. It is time for her story to be heard, for justice to be pursued, and for the truth to prevail over misinformation, lies, and deception. I'm asking for your help, your support, and your voices. Let us join forces to protect Deborah, advocate for her rights, and hold accountable those who have caused her tremendous harm. Please share this message, reach out to your representatives, and stand with us in this critical fight for justice. And if you cannot contribute, what I ask is that you make this video go viral. Make this video go viral. Now, why am I here in the first place? As you already know, in New York, especially New York, hiring attorneys can be very costly, $500, $600, $700 an hour. Complexities of due diligence requires patience, persistence, and time. Unfortunately, we are witnessing individuals who have chosen to support this troubling situation, indicating that there may be complexity in the neglect. I urge you to read the summary attached to this crowdfund and consider supporting my sister. And if you do nothing else, please spread it totally around the world, viral. Winning this fight will not only represent a significant victory for Deborah and her family, but also bring vital attention to the pressing issues of elder and spousal abuse, paving the way for justice in the face of such complex challenges. Lastly, our family has faced numerous threats and acts of intimidation. As we stand for the truth and advocate for Deborah, we will still stand tall no matter what. We are deeply concerned about these intentions, and we are concerned about everyone's safety involved and urgently need your help and support during this time. So thank you for sincerely taking the time to watch this and for your unwavering support. Justice for Deborah.